On stage with me right now, please give a warm welcome. BuzzFeed social media editor, who you also regularly hear on Q's online panel, Elamin Abdelmahmoud. Right next to him is the arts and entertainment writer who you can often read in the Globe and Mail, also the author of a new book called Hater, The Virtues of Utter Disagreeability, which I said like I'm on the Waltons. You can hear him regularly on Q's screen panel, talking TV and movie news every week. Mr. John Semley.
Thank you.
And finally, next to him is the artistic director of the Festival of Literary Diversity, Q's book columnist, Jael Richardson. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
What's up?
Good, great. Very good.
So, John, you're up first because it's not hard to find something you don't like. What do you want to leave behind in 2018?
Well, first of all, if you listen to, does anyone here listen to the screen panel on Q? 9 of you, who I love more than my own mother. Have you ever seen this? You're going to a movie or you're going to watch a TV show and it's like, oh, it's the Power Rangers or Sabrina. And it's like, I already know those things. It's like, no, this is a reboot, a remake of something you're already familiar with. I think we can leave those things in the rearview mirror. You
think we can live dark at home? We're getting some applause.
Wow. Who else hates reboots?
The cast and crew of Will and Grace is weeping in the front row right now.
That was a revival, so safe.
But there is, the dark and gritty reboot, we covered these a lot on Q in the past year. People might know the Netflix show Riverdale, took Archie characters, put them in sort of a David Lynch-style murder mystery. There's Anne with an E on CBC and Netflix, a darker Anne of Green Gables. There's a lot of these, for example. We have a clip of one. Can we take a listen?
In the town of Greendale, where it always feels like Halloween, there lived a girl who was half witch, half mortal, who, on her 16th birthday, would have to choose between two worlds, the witch world of her family and the human world of her friends. Happy birthday, sweet 16. And that girl is me. You're going to die, half-breed. I'm not an evil person, but these are desperate times.
John, what did we just hear?
It's not a conflict. First of all, you choose evil every time. That's way more fun than hanging out with your friends and family. Come on.
Wow. It's Christmas, man.
It's true, it's Christmas.
Christmas Eve right now.
Hang out and make evil with your friends and family. That was the trailer of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the new Netflix adaptation of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Any fans? Any detractors? Anyways, my point is not to wax about why these things are creatively bankrupt and only exist to take what little money we have out of our wallets.
Are you sure?
That's obvious enough. I guess my thing is this, as someone who loves film and television history, I think we need more ways for people to watch the originals. I remember when they released a new RoboCop movie, a movie I saw about 900 times as a kid. It's like, why would anyone go to see this? And a friend said, well, there are no video stores, so you can't just go rent the original. It's like, okay, well, that's
So you
sad.
gotta go make. Elamin, how do you feel about dark and gritty reboots?
I truly, the only thing I hate is to agree with John Semley.
You've been boxed in, my friend.
No, I'm very uncomfortable about this. But I do agree that it's gone out of hand. I have to think back to the only good reboot, as far as I can tell, which was the Batman Begins, the Christopher Nolan Batman series. Thank you.
But
it was good. Whoa, it was good. It was dark. It was gritty. It took the story to somewhere you didn't really expect. And then everyone was like, hey, there appears to be money in doing that. And so they've done that a lot since. But I do think that there are defensible reboots. I do think that the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was, in fact, good. I don't want to remember Tobey Maguire's. So, that's how I'm living. I'm okay with some reboots, but I, generally speaking, will fall on the cynical side of reboots.
Jael, how about you? John, please. Jael, please.
Yeah, I'm not into reboots, but I want to reserve the right to go back on that when Top Gun comes out. Thanks.
All right, so Jael, it's your turn now. What would you like to leave in 2018?
Okay, well, people like me for my book picks. Generally, you might not like me for this, but whatever, it's fine. I am done.
Starting strong, by the way.
Yeah.
I am done with Blansom, uber-intelligent, white dude television shows.
What?
Right? So blandsome is my word for boringly handsome, right?
Blandsome?
Blandsome,
All
right? So they're boringly
I think I've been there. It's
handsome,
in northern Manitoba.
super intelligent. Super intelligent. Started with like the CSI series were like that. I'm really into crime series.
Okay.
So CSI was like that. You know, the one guy who knows all the answers and everything. And now they're doing this thing where they have like diverse casts, like on Bull. But then Bull is still the most intelligent person in the room all the time.
Right.
And I'm so over that storyline. It's boring.
So you're done with that. I understand that, yeah. Oh, wow. I was going to go to John, but Elamin is shaking his head.
I'm not done with them. I'm really not.
of course.
Hold on though. Let me tell you why. So I recently started watching Suits, which is like, I don't know if it's a good show, but
They're
it's
not
a very
boringly
comforting-
handsome on that show, though.
But
just for the record.
I mean, listen. So here's the thing. As I started watching Suits, I was like, you know, they generally know everything. They're always the smartest people in the room.
Yeah.
This is pretty boring, but it's comforting. Like it's it's kind of nice to just have a show that is reliably that.
Just pop a pill and go to bed if you want.
Exactly. See, Suits is like the same storyline
Yes.
every season.
So is House, and also I find
House
House
is
comforting.
a perfect example of the blandsome male
You don't want to see
lead.
more Hugh Laurie? What is this? What is this show?
No more. No more.
John, let's get you in on
Well,
this.
first of all, I'm a member of the Blansom male rights movement, so I feel personally offended.
Is that in your Twitter bio? 'Cause it
And I'm
should
going to
be.
try to cancel this whole panel live on air. No, but you know what it is with these shows? It's like they were in the writer's room, and it's like, oh, we'll think of a better title eventually. Rookie FBI Suits. And then the first episode goes to air, and someone's like, oh, we forgot to think of a better title. This show is just called FBI. And it's about the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, you know the one.
Yeah, I think
There's
those
no confusion that way.
those shows are bland and
lazy.
milquetoast beyond anything.
So JL, seriously though, what would you like to see more of then? In
Well,
2019?
okay, so what I really like to see, I thought with shows like Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, and I've been watching 911, you would get these more diverse casts. And I'm not just talking about diverse in the way they look, but diverse in the way they think and the ideas they bring and the balance of ideas. You know, one of the reasons people love shows like This Is Us is because it's bringing these conversations to the forefront in really interesting ways that make you think. So, and I love that in 911. You've got Angela Davis. She's a black woman in a leading role. Her ex-husband's gay. Her new boyfriend's this white firefighter. You know, you got this interesting dynamic and storylines going, and I'm just looking for more of that.
I agree, man. I think like the best show on TV right now is Killing Eve, to me.
Killing Eve, incredible show.
yeah,
Great
yeah.
show.
Thank you.
Elamin, you're
Yes.
up. What needs to end in 2018?
It's a word that John said in his last answer. So I'm here to say
Blansom?
that, yes, Blansom needs to go for sure. But what I really believe needs to go is cancel culture. So we've spent a lot of time in 2018 talking about how this thing is canceled and that thing is canceled. Look, the idea of cancel culture comes from Black Twitter. And like all good things that come from Black Twitter, when they kind of go mainstream, they get ruined.
So just to be clear, that we're not talking about
yes.
canceling a show. We're talking
No.
about what?
Right. So we're talking about like when a celebrity is accused of something, and then there's a quick hashtag that's like, oh, this person's canceled. But the problem is that it's really boring. It's like a boring way to think about the problems that we all face, because we all have to live together, right? Like we have to think through these problems. And so I find cancel culture so lazy, and also it doesn't mean anything. Like some people were saying that Taylor Swift was canceled. She's not, folks. She's doing just fine. She's doing fine.
I mean, it's
and
an
so-
interesting point. I mean, you have people like Gwen Stefani was
Yes,
said to
Gwen
be-
Stefani is not canceled at all.
she was said to be canceled this year. Taylor Swift was said to be canceled this year.
2018 was set to be canceled this year, and guess what? Still in it.
We're almost there. We're almost
You're
there.
here right now.
John, how do you feel about cancel culture?
Yeah, I mean, if my nodding in agreement didn't take me off, I totally agree. I mean, we live in an age where people talk about, problematic behaviors or people behaving in ways that are unbecoming, if not violent and horrible, and I think those discussions are totally important and valuable. But I also think that when you just try to totally shut people down, you're not creating an opportunity for growth. You're not creating an opportunity for understanding. All you're creating is more resentment on both parts, and is that going to make, not to sound sappy, but it's Christmas, the world a better place? I don't think
John
so.
Semley, I don't recognize this.
My heart just swelled 3 times its size.
I disagree. I disagree. I mean,
Okay.
I think that people deserve to be canceled. And I think on an individual level, you can cancel whoever you want. Like, you know who I canceled in 2018? Kanye. Canceled. Done. And I don't care.
But he's not canceled, Jael.
But
He's
here's the
doing
thing.
okay.
Here's the problem with the term. It's cancel culture. So
Yeah.
people should and can be canceled because they're morons and they do stupid things. But
Wow, Kanye.
it's when it becomes a culture and I get out here and I say, y'all need to cancel Kanye, that cancel culture becomes a problem.
Sure.
So
Elamin?
it's the culture that's the problem, not the cancel.
I mean, my problem is that I agree with that. I agree. Like if someone is doing something so antithetical to your values, feel free to say I'm canceling this person for me.
Yeah.
But really, like the only instances of actual canceling that we've seen this year have been when people have threatened the powers of massive capitalist institutions, right? Like Kevin Spacey threatened the box office of a movie that was supposed to be like a tentpole movie, which is why he got pulled from that. So like the fact that he was trending, being like Kevin Spacey's canceled for all the things that he's accused of, didn't do the canceling. It was, in fact, a movie studio that actually had to do that at the end of the day. So let's just like not confuse the power that we think we have in cancel culture versus like the reality, which is like none, none whatsoever.
What an uplifting Christmas show.
Cancel Christmas.
This is
Sorry.
no, I'm all about it. This is fantastic. This is Q Live for the holidays. I'm here with John Semley, Jael Richardson, and Elamin Abdelmahmoud. And I'm really only kidding because I look forward to these discussions we have every single week. And but we have just a couple of minutes left. I have just like seconds left for each of you to make a case for something that was underrated in 2018. So John, something you liked in 2018, and I'll start with you as Elamin chuckles.
30 seconds. He's got a new film, The Mule, coming out this Friday in cinemas. 88 years old, still the king of Hollywood. Clint Eastwood. People think he's an arch-conservative. People think he's trash. I think he's a deeply humanistic filmmaker, even if you don't agree with his politics. That's what today should be about, is looking across the aisle, understanding what people mean, especially if they mean it in a nice and artful way. If Clint Eastwood gets canceled, then it's going to be by the man upstairs and not by me.
Jael, what's the most underrated thing for you in 2018?
All right, you're also going to judge me for this. In addition to reading lots of books, I love reality TV, in particular Survivor. Survivor, whoa, haters in the room.
Oh, hold
Let me
on.
tell you.
This is where
This is not a boo
accepting crowd.
No,
that got
it's
a worse
not.
reaction than Kanye. Come on, get it together. Come on.
Kanye's a black Clint Eastwood, man.
Survivor, you might not know, is in season 37, and you probably gave up about 27 seasons ago, maybe 36 seasons ago.
Yeah.
But this season is David versus Goliath, and so they brought in all these
Isn't
people.
it every year?
They brought in
Sorry.
all these people who have everything and started with everything against people who started with nothing and have had to struggle. So it's like geeks versus power force. And everybody underestimated the geeks, the Davids, and everybody thought the Goliaths would win. And we're in the last stages, and the geeks are ruling, and they're taking over, and they're underestimated, and it's a lesson to us all.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Merry Christmas.
Elamin, last word is to you. What do you think deserved more attention than it got this year?
It is crazy to me that my fellow esteemed co-panelists would come on the show and defend institutions that have been long defended by old white men, and literally an old white man. And so
I was conceived during an episode of Survivor. I'm not that old. Jesus.
That's solid. And so I'd like to actually talk about horror movies. I think 2018 was an amazing year for horror movies. I'm a fan of the genre, but honestly, 2018 was a year where the genre had something to say, where we see that, we were living in pretty dystopian times, and horror was like, you know what, we're going to adapt to this. So we saw Hereditary, which was incredible. We saw A Quiet Place, which was amazing. The Netflix put out a show, The Haunting of House Hill. That's not how you say that at all.
Haunting of Hill House, yep.
Thank you. Which was an amazing sort of treatise on trauma. So horror has something to say in 2018, and I don't think we're talking about it enough. So horror, underrated, more horror.
Horror, Survivor, and Clint Eastwood. Please, everybody, welcome our super panel.